Today, I'm reloading some Smith & Wesson 40 caliber shells. This video is not intended as an instructional video in any way, shape, or form, and remember, reloading can be dangerous, so don't attempt this without the proper knowledge. I'm using the Lee reloading dies, which is a 3-die system. First step, I take my shells and the media and load it into my tumbler and let it tumble for a couple of hours to clean off all the soot and or burn marks from being previously fired. The next step in the process is to take the clean brass out of the tumbler. I use a hand strainer to separate the media from the brass. The brown sandy stuff you're looking at is the media that is actually ground walnut shells. They do a real good job in cleaning up and polishing the brass, getting it ready to be decapped. And I'll be inspecting the casings as I move through the process. So now the shells are ready to be deprimed or decapped. Both terms mean the same thing. We're going to punch out that primer. Now, if you look here on the 3 dies, the die that I'm going to use to deprimer the casing is the carbide sizing die. It actually has a little pin that as you run the plunger up, or the ram, I call it a plunger, will press out the primer in one stroke. Once we've gone through that process, we're now having to go back through and put new primers in. This is my preference for primers. It's the small pistol for standard pistol loads. The primer is now placed into the shell holder pocket and then pressed into place. And I check each one to make sure it's seated flat. Now, once I've got all of my shells primed and ready for recharging, I'm going to change out the sizing die and replace it with the powder through expanding die. It resets the casing so that it'll accept the bullet without a lot of resistance. With the expander die, you can also assemble the auto powder dispenser. It will not only shape the casing, but it will also charge the casing with the exact prescribed amount of propellant. The propellant I use is the Unique. There are several propellants out there available. You just have to choose which ones you want. And again, this is not an instructional video. I'm just showing you what I use and how I do it. As I add the shell to the press, each time I pull a lever and it goes up, it not only resizes the mouth of the shell, but it also gives me the exact amount of powder I need to recharge. And for the last step of the process, I change out the sizing die with the bullet, seat, and feed die, as you see here. What this does, it actually seats the bullet to the casing, making a complete shell. And after about every 3rd press, I take my calipers and measure the overall length to make sure it's in spec. So that's it. I've skipped over some minor details of what you can find in your reloading manual. And it's very important that you follow the instructions because reloading can be dangerous. And again, this is not an instructional video. This is just something I like to do. And I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe.